Hello and welcome to the second edition of Flutter Festival Romania. Thank you all for being here. So this meeting is recorded and also will be available on YouTube. The last meeting, it is available on YouTube on Flutter Romania Meetup channel. So we are part of the Flutter Festival with those 5 sessions organized together by Flutter Romania Meetup and GDG Cluj-Napoca. So we have a little video to get things started. So let me play the video, this time with sound.
Attention, all passengers. Special announcement. New destinations have been announced. Please be advised and plan accordingly. All aboard.
Yeah, so nice. So nice movie. So Flutter Festival, it's a series of events sustained by Flutter starting with January 20th January until 13th of April 2022. You can see the full list of events, I think, just by searching for events on Flutter Festival. I haven't saw a single spot with all the events, but there are like all the GDGs and meetup groups from all over the world were invited to create this, to be part of this Flutter Festival. Okay, we'll be having 5 sessions. This is the second session of the 5 session series in which we'll be developing an application for GDG Cluj-Napoca for their meetup page, in which we'll be listing all the events and try to get as much as we can from Flutter Insights and how Flutter works for a beginner. So those sessions are meant to learn together and also to work together. So make sure if you have your laptop and Flutter installed by the manual that we mentioned in the description and send it to the email. Make sure that you code along with us. At the end of all the sessions, we'll be having a swag contest, quiz contest. In this session, you guys have me and Liviu Luca. We are the mentors. Liviu Luca, which is a senior Flutter developer, and Alex Bordei, me, which I'm a full stack developer. Last time we created this part of the app, the splash screen. We discussed about what widget are, what a stateless and a stateful widget stands for, how to arrange things with columns and rows. Also, the safe area was a great improvement, and how to bring a package for listing SVG images, as long with how to handle assets and PNG images. So welcome back, guys. How do you feel today? I can see you very well, but
ready to roll.
Ready to roll. So link for Zoom from Meetup site redirects to the last week's meet. Come on, serious?
Hello, sorry for being late.
Hello, welcome.
I forgot.
So let me just check a second if we have the right link on the page. So no, the event for the second session has the same link as we have into this meeting. Yep. I don't know what happened. Okay. So welcome, guys. This session will be coding a little more, and we'll be coding a little more by trying to add a new screen and to get a little details about how to navigate in between screens in Flutter. We'll be inserting a drawer, and we'll be handling some asynchronous or async processes. So we create basically the homepage of the app and a second screen to our application. Okay. Let me make sure that I'm in sync with everything here. 1 second. What happened? So who is the first time here? Please open your mic. I can see you guys. I have two screens, but fully covered with other screens. Oh, so we are.
I think everyone was here last time as well.
Sorry?
I think everyone was here.
Yeah.
Last time.
Well, this is the reason that nobody answers. Okay, so basically, what should we do? We need to let this splash screen do his job in order to, I don't know, start the app and bring the initial resources to the app. And then after everything is logged in, we'll be going to the homepage. In this app, we'll be inserting a spinner, and also we'll be managing the routes to go from one screen to another, and we'll be seeing what happens with the widget tree when we add a screen, and how actually to handle a splash screen into the widget tree when you want to go to a second screen. So first of all, let's create here a new folder called screens. In this folder, we can add two screens, home screen, and also we'll be moving all the content from here. We'll be leaving the main object as it is, the main the my app object as it is, and we'll be moving all the code for the splash screen into another screen called splash screen. Okay. For the splash screen, let's go and move everything that is here. So we'll be using the shortcut ST, and we'll be creating for the moment a stateless widget called splash screen. Okay, and we also need to import the material Dart library. Good. Okay, the name of the constructor. Good. So we have, this way we have creating just a widget, yeah, that is returning the container can be considered a component. We consider a screen a component that, I don't know, usually brings in a scaffold component. So in this situation, we can move everything that stands here to our new screen or new splash screen. So just select the starting point of the scaffold, and then we go here and cut this, and we'll be moving all the code to the splash screen here. After return, we just return the scaffold that was into the main page. Okay. We also see the SVG picture asset is not in place. We need to add the library SVG, Flutter SVG. Okay, and now everything is okay. And in order to obtain the same result, the home property will receive an instance of splash screen. Let's see. So probably it's a good idea to run the app. I'm starting it without debugging. And see if we still have the same result. Okay, until it launches, we'll be adding, usually when you have a splash screen, there is a loader in place because that screen stands for, I don't know, loading the initial resources and making sure that the app can run correctly on the device. So usually there is a spinner. For this, we'll be adding a spinner 2 to our screen. So right before the Made with Love in Flutter, we'll be adding a new children right before that row, which will be a circular progress indicator, which is natively widget that exists in material Dart, and also we'll be giving a property of color red. Still waiting for compiling. And we'll be simulating how this screen should go to the other screen and launches the home screen after it loads for the moment. So we'll be creating just a loader for 2 seconds after the app will compile in order to see exactly what we have to do and how it works. Okay, yay. So the widget inspector is here. Okay, let's save the splash screen and see if hot reload. Okay, so we have a spinner here. Now it is, it works indefinitely, so we don't have a stop. We just want, after 2 seconds of having the splash screen in place, to move it to the home screen, to load the home screen. And for this, for the moment, I want to show you something. So first time, I want to show you how we can bring another screen into this widget tree. And for this, we'll be adding a text button right before the circular progress indicator. This text button has a callback usually, and also a child. So one second. Which is a text of load home screen. And also there is a callback. Totally forgot. On pressed yet. So we have on pressed. When this button will be pressed, we just have an empty function that will load the other screen. So just save it. Yeah, we have here a text button. Now, if we click it, it does nothing. If you return false, usually on press callback, like false, the button, if I remember exactly, or Oh, no, if you give him a null value, I think the button will be automatically false. What happened here? Okay. Is it? I don't see it. So this is why you have to provide an empty function if you want to have your button active. Okay. And in this point of the app, if you click the button, we'll be accessing the navigator of this context, and we'll be pushing a new route, which will be, let's see what we have to push here. Technically, I think
Alex, can I add something?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you are aware, but they added a shorthand, so to speak,
Yeah.
to navigator of context push. So it's you can do navigator dot push.
Okay. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, but you have to.
You still have to add the route. Yes.
You have to add the route. Okay. So I want to take a look on documentation. I totally forgot how to create a route instance. I'm pretty nervous, so.
I think you can add the material page route.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Like
I don't
this.
think you need the.
Sorry.
I
Do
don't
we
think you
need a
need
key
route.
or not?
I think it's not named. It's not a named parameter.
Oh, okay.
And this is a function.
Okay, that takes a context. My laptop is going crazy now. Is it right? Okay, and here we have return home. Oh, yeah, we have to create a widget here. I totally forgot to create the home screen widget. Okay, and we need to import the material app as well. Good. 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 So now we basically push a new widget to the screen, which is the home screen. In order to see that this is the home screen, let's return a scaffold here. And yeah, this is it. We can add a body of text, which is home for the moment. Let's put it into a center widget. Okay, so this is home, and this is the way that you can trigger, you can launch or load another screen by pressing a button. If we take this button from here and try to replicate it into the home screen. Load splash, or at least we can put here back. And for this, so in order to get back, we don't use any more push because we are not pushing another widget to the widget tree. We just pop. Okay. So basically, when we click back here, we should go to the splash screen. And when we click load home screen, we load another screen. So this is a very, very basic navigation in Flutter. If we go for the widget inspector that you guys learned me last time, inspector. Okay. So this is the widget tree that we have here. This is the splash screen. If we go to load the home screen, well, I don't actually see the details tree. Come on. So I want to see real-time changes on the widget tree when I'm adding a new screen to the widget tree. Or at least I think I should run this with debugging. Let's see if I'm refreshing after. Okay, so this is a widget tree, and when we push an app, actually we add the home screen to the widget tree, and when we pop, yeah, we go for navigator pop. Let me refresh this. We actually remove that widget from the splash screen. In this situation, we'll be adding into our home screen. Let's add an app bar. So okay, and let's load again the home screen. We have the back arrow here because it sees that behind this home screen widget, there is another widget, and we can go back to the splash screen. But normally, this shouldn't work like that. So when a splash screen ends loading, you have to be into the home screen without being able to go back, even if you, I don't know, create a button or you include the app bar. And this will be something that we'll be treating very soon. After we'll be navigating through this using named routes. And this leads us to creating the routes management for this app. So into our main.dart file, after the home property, we can declare the routes property. And this, sorry, this is a series of keys in which we can set up names for our routes. For example, home, which will be a function of context with a parameter context. Yeah, that will return a constant of home screen. And this way, we just created a named route that we can use in our code directly without knowing exactly what the object is called and actually managing all the routes from a single point. And if we go now for the splash screen, here when we are pushing the widget to the tree, yeah, the new home screen. Actually, leave you teach me this. We can go for push named, and we can just call home. I think the first. So thank you for your input. It's very helpful to see that you can use Navigator in the short way. So let's see if this works. Okay, so we have the same result, yeah. But in this case, we just add a name route, which is called home for us. So this is a home route here. Okay. So this is a widget that responds to the home route, yeah. We can go back for a splash screen as well and create like, I don't know, something like this, an empty route, and we can return the splash screen, but this is not something very helpful for our app. Okay, so we have to provide actually a name for this splash. And in the home screen, we can, yeah, we can use just Navigator pop again and have the same result. Now we can get use of another method, which is I think it was push replacement named, which is basically, and we should go for the widget inspector here. It is basically a way of replacing this widget with the new widget into the same position. And this means like when the splash screen will end up loading, we'll be not having another widget before in the widget tree before the splash screen, then home. So we load the home screen. And now if we refresh, we see here the only widget that is available into the app, into this runtime, is the home screen. The back button goes through, I don't know, nowhere. And this is something that Liviu was teaching me. So when you want to go back, but you want to make sure that you actually can go back. 1 second to close everything here. So my desktop is so full now. Okay. So let's load the home screen. There is a method here called maybe pop, which is actually not letting the button trigger the removing of the widget from the widget tree if that is the last widget. So now the back button callback is not actually going anywhere. Good. So let me check the details for today in order to see what we discussed. So we created a new screen. We discussed a little about pop and push, and we have our push replacement button in place, callback in place. We saw what happened on the widget tree. Okay, so I personally haven't created any web app on Flutter, but this route management I know that works very well with web development in Flutter as well. So I don't know, guys, did someone of you have had experience with creating a web app in Flutter, and how they manage the route management into that app?
Well, I made an app, a web app, but it's basically a progressive app. It's not URL friendly. It doesn't support backward. And I've used nameless routes. I didn't use the named routes.
Okay, so
Though, yeah, sure.
I think compiling for web is it's certainly something that relates a lot on routing. As far as I know, there is Navigator 2.2.0 that is another stuff. I
Yeah,
personally know.
yeah. It's okay. One Navigator 2.0. It's a bit tough to learn it a bit. Learn it, yeah. It's a bit tough, but once you learn it, you manage a lot of stuff more easily because you have access from wherever you want. It's also great for web apps, as you mentioned. Yeah, I've done a tutorial about it, and I manage it with the block, and it
So
was pretty
Adrian,
okay.
would you like to send us your profile, because I know you write a lot of technical tutorials.
No, I just wrote 3 tutorials, and I'm working on my 4th.
Okay, this is not. Can you share it with us?
Yeah, sure. I'll leave the link in the chat about.
Cool. Okay, guys, now we'll be trying to simulate the way that or the thing that ends up the splash screen loading by doing actually an async process using futures. So for this will be so this works like that. When the app starts to be loaded, yeah, initialized, we also start async processes for, I don't know, loading the initial data, checking that we have the token, the authentication token for the APIs available, or any job like that. So this usually starts when the app is initialized, and then the app will continue to show the widget that loads. Yeah, so the client sees that something is loading and can be patient for seeing what's behind that. And when we have all the processes in place, we can actually get the job to jumping to another screen to the when everything is finished and processed. And for this, we need to have access to the init state method of the widget. Let's convert this stateless widget into a stateful widget. And into the splash screen here, let's override the init state. One second, void init state. So we overridden the init state function. Come on, help me to do this. Okay, good. And now I think we need to call the super method at init state. Okay, so this actually takes care about what happens in the initial state of the method that we overriding. And now and now let's create a future method which is not actually returning anything, called load data. Okay, and this method will await for a future late of duration of, I don't know, 3 seconds. It's enough. Okay. So basically what we do here is to have a method that waits to that launches after 3 seconds a process, LibView came out with the idea to create another method here, which is actually also future, called init app. Okay, which will await load data. And this is because if we want to await for load data, we need to make the init state async, and this is something that we don't want. So now we can call here init app method. And this is something interesting. I wanted to understand how this async goes. So I was like, okay, now here I'm printing the message 1 because I see this in the procedural manner that this is the first step for me. And after loading data, well, I need to go for 2. So let's print 2, and I wanted to see, no, here. I wanted to see what were the results in this case. So for my point of view, it is the init app, which will print 1, and then load data, which should print 2. And after this, we should see print 3, which is completely in totally other manner that I was thinking. But this is how the async works. So now we have first printed the message 3, and then the initial apps started loading data in prints 1, and after loading data is finished, awaits for the result from load data. So after that prints 2, and then prints 1. So basically we need to be exactly here after the 2 result is done. We consider here that the app was loaded, and we can push to the widget tree the new home screen widget. So we have navigator here, push replacement name of home, because we already created it. And here we have the context. Okay, and let's put it like this. So now if we refresh the page after 3 seconds of loading, we should go directly to the home screen. 1, 2, 3. Yay! And the back button still doesn't work because we just replaced the widget. Let's go again for push named. And if we refresh, reload the app, yeah, now the back button works, but we don't want it. So I'm just happy that I understood that. Okay, we'll be removing the load home screen callback here and the button. And basically we have a loading screen, a splash screen that loads after 3 seconds. Let's go. This is translated like that. In the initial state, they're starting the processes of loading data, and also the app continues to load, and the build method is called, and the scaffold is resulted into the init app, in which we can have more than one process, and we can, I don't know, set states and variables and initial data here. We'll be loading firstly for the load data response, which is basically waiting for this future delay to end up. Yeah, and after everything is done, then we consider that we can go to the next screen. I don't know, you can add here some shared preferences, updates, some check-ins for the available APIs, as I said, or different stuff. I don't exactly have more examples in my head. Okay, so this is how we handle features here. And imagine that instead of having a feature delayed, you have a call for an API. Yeah, and you wait for that call to end up, and then you process the data and go to the next screen, which is the home screen. And into the home screen, we want to play a little and add another really interesting widget that Flutter has, which is a drawer. Let's go for this body. I mean, we can go just for the app bar. Perfect. And we can use here a drawer. And you guys will see immediately what is a drawer. A drawer receives a child of list view in this case. Okay, and in this list view, we have a padding property of 0. So we have actually no padding, and a children object with a drawer header for the moment. Okay, in the drawer header, let's put a text as a child, sorry. Text, which will be, this is the basic example that they're having in the documentation, so I'm just replicating it. Okay, let's add a decoration property here, which is a box decoration. And we can set up a color of colors blue. Let's see what we have until now. Okay, so this is a drawer here. Okay. It is very interesting. I don't want to put the app bar. So basically, if you don't have the app bar, the drawer is not in place. Okay, let's add some elements here, like list style, which will have a text of item 1. So those are the options from the drawer. And also there is a callback for on tap. Yeah, let's add more than one. Item 2 and 3. Okay. Without giving them any job. Okay. And let's add the app bar. And give it a title of, what is the title? Title is directly a widget of a text. Okay, so this is a drawer that we created with 3 items. Yeah. When you basically click outside the drawer, it closes automatically. If we go to the documentation, you will see that you can handle this actually externally, not just by the default callbacks. So, for example, we can remove the drawer by, I don't know, clicking the item 1 element. So in this case, let's go for the widget inspector to see what happens when the drawer is loaded. So basically we have the home screen, the scaffold, and the drawer here. Let's refresh it because I want to see the callback, if the callbacks works. Okay, again, we have the home screen, At least we should. So the widget inspector is not working anymore. Okay, but if you click the item one, the drawer is closed. So you can run it programmatically because when the drawer opens, actually it gets pushed to the widget tree. Here is a demo that we had. Yeah. Good. Let me check if we have more to discuss on this. Well, this is it. Let's create a content from the home screen. So we have, sorry, body, which will be actually a safe area. With a child of center. I don't really know what to do here. So let's, oh, yeah. So there is another widget. Also, Livio told me about it. That is called back button. So basically, there's this widget in Flutter that gives you a back button ready to be pressed whenever you like. So it looks again for the widget tree and does this maybe pop directly, so you don't need to provide any callbacks for pressed function or. And yeah, let's make here a text of. Well, we moved very, very fast, and I think that's it for the demo that we prepared for this session. We can go further a little, and I wanted to try to integrate actually an API call into Flutter. And we can fetch some data from the internet. Let's do this. Let's do an API integration. I don't know, for this endpoint. Let's see if this endpoint from documentation works. Perfect. This is a really good endpoint that returns JSON. Okay, so let's follow along this tutorial in order to see how to fetch the data from internet. This is just an example, and also we'll be replacing our future with this callback, real callback. So for this, we'll be using the HTTP package. We have it here. Okay, let's go with it into the pubspec YAML file and add the dependency of HTTP. Good. And also we have to import, well, we'll be importing directly when we call this, but for the Android manifest, we need to add permissions to check the internet. So as far as I see, debug Android manifest here. Oh, it already has the internet permission. So by default, when you create a Flutter app, it already asks on Android for internet permissions. This is very nice. Okay, we work on the splash screen for having this callback. So this is the feature that makes the network requests. it is called fetch album. For us, it will be called load the data. So yeah, why not? Let's follow their example. So our load data now will be returning an HTTP response, and now it is the time to what? To add the library. This is nice. Yeah, they added the library as a nominal. Here they took an alias for HTTP. So this is the reason that our helper does not fix this directly. So I imported the HTTP Dart as HTTP. Okay. And for this, we need to return actually the same response here for JSON placeholder that typecode.com albums.1. Okay. We'll be returning this. Okay. So after that, we'll be going to actually translate the answer, the JSON answer, into a Dart object. So for the moment, we'll be having just this JSON text, but we'll be matching it. Let's see if the format is that one that they are proposing. So is this user ID, ID and title? Well, this is not actually an album. User ID, ID and title. Oh, okay. So yeah, we'll be creating this class with also the methods that helps us to translate and create the object from JSON. And also I think there's not two JSON method, but yeah, we don't need it. Okay, let's see what happens now. It just returns the callback, but we don't see the print two now because it's dead code for sure. So Livio, are you here?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you here, so it is necessary to await somehow from this return to happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, get is also asynchronous. It's a future.
Okay,
so you'll have to wait.
How can I handle this?
But I mean, if you return it, then it should be fine.
Yeah, this is why I'm asking, because it seems like returning it actually waits for it, no?
Yeah, it returns it as a future, and then it's being awaited in the init app function.
Okay, so let's go for...
So it should be fine. You can also print the response body, maybe in the init app function.
Yeah, but I have to take this response, no?
Yep.
What happened here?
You need to do final response equals await load data.
Okay, sorry. Final response equals await load data. Okay, and here we want to print response dot body.
No. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so we have the response for the callback, and after ends up, we see that the home is processed. Okay, let's go here and create this album class. So how they are creating it? Actually, it creates a class wherever name it gives. So in this case, they call it album. And those properties are very easy to follow because JSON actually it is something really easy to follow. So for this user ID and ID, we consider this as integers or at least numeric type of values, and this title, which will be a string. So yeah, let's create this class of albums. Probably we'll be creating here a folder called models. And in this, we'll be creating album.dart. And in this, we'll be just creating a class called album with, and we can follow the JSON user ID, which is an integer. Also an ID, which is also an integer, and the string, which is called title. String title. Let's get all the properties from the constructor. So we have album, and we can go for nominal keys here. And we're having title. As I remember correctly, this is the way. Okay. So if we go like this user ID and this ID and this title, we created actually the nominal values for this constructor, but we also need to put the required keyword in front of each value because we don't provide any initial value to this. And we have this alert of some no some safety, which is like, come on, provide the value. We don't need null values because we'll be crashing and we don't let you compile that. Okay, so basically we created this, the album constructor. Let's go make it constant. Okay. Okay, and we have the JSON serialization method. Come on. From map on from, okay. It's very nice. Changing the constant value actually helps us a lot. So let's go for this factory and then we'll be discussing about the constant. So this factory actually took a string dynamic map, which is our JSON object, and then returns values based on the keys that we have into the JSON. So let's take this factory from here and put it here. Okay, so it seems like title is not a good name parameter title isn't defined. Oh, okay. We have the problem here. Okay, I will give it some time for those that they are writing with us. So to copy the class. So again, we have the properties based on the JSON code. If you have a property that is a list, you can actually create a list and then a class of that particular property. So it is like having a class in class in class, and this from JSON helps us create dynamically the class instance by delivering the JSON response to this method from JSON. Okay. This is the moment when we are converting the HTTP response that we are receiving to an album. So let's see this method here. It's fetch album, yeah, which is actually taking the data from the callback. If the response status code is 200, which is, yeah, we need to check this, or whatever they are documenting this, but basically a good API has those status codes in place. And they return just album from JSON by JSON decoding the string that we received, or actually it shows an exception. I'm trying to see how we'll be handling this. So let's go for the same example here. We have the album class, yeah, for sure. And now into our screens, into the splash screen, yeah, here we have the response body, but let's make the same check. So if response that status code is 200, okay, we can load an album of album from, isn't it from JSON? Or at least we need to add the class. Okay, let's go, album from JSON. And we have JSON decode of response that body. Okay, so okay, else, and they're throwing an exception here. This will lead to I don't know, canceling the app, closing the app. Let's see. So let's go for 404 because I want to force throwing the error to see what happens when we have the error in place. Oh, it keeps loading, so this is good. Actually, we this is a really nice feature. Our client will be like, okay, this is still loading. Probably I have problems with my internet connection, but nobody thinks that actually there is an error. So yeah, we have to show an error. I would like to show a toast here. I don't know. It is my first time when I'm trying to add a toast. I know it from Android. So there is a package. I was expecting.
Now in Flutter, we have snack bars. I think in Android they changed the API of the toast.
So there's a snack bar, we say.
Yeah.
Flutter widget. Let's see. Snack bar, Flutter widget, display a snack bar, Flutter documentation. Okay, so we have the scaffold, we have a snack bar page, and snack bar page, which is the snack bar of the content. Okay, let's finish with the API and then we'll be going to the snack bar if we will be having time. So yeah, let's see if we have the instance of the album created. Just refresh it and see. Okay, probably everything is good. Just let's print album that, come on. Oh, so there's a method here, at least a function, album that title. Yeah, so we replaced actually everything with a callback into an API, a real callback. Yeah, the only thing that I want to handle this is to try out this snack bar. It is actually my first time integrating a snack bar, so let's see. This means like instead of the loader, instead of this circular, where is the circular? Okay, instead of this, if the answer will fail, then we will be setting the state to the error. Otherwise, we will be pushing the screen. So in this case, we can go for having a Boolean here. Called error, which is false. And here we can go for a ternary operator like error, or at least no error. If error, then we'll be having the snack bar here. Otherwise, we have the circular. Okay, here we have, if everything goes well, so error will be true. And we can go for set state. Okay. Or let's make it like, I'm feeling more confident on setting up the values into the state because I know why. When I'm reading this, I know why I did that. So if the error goes through, where is the circular indicator? Yeah, so there will be error, or at least we'll be here, have the circular progress indicator. Let's go to simulate again the error. 404, refresh. So yeah, okay, we have the error. So this is the place where we'll be adding the snack bar. So they created a snack bar like, okay, so create a scaffold when creating app that follows. Okay.
Alex, just a quick note.
Yeah.
So a snack bar is exactly like a toast, like it shows on the screen and then it disappears.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Thank
that's
you
what
for-
we want to do, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, you can't add it to the widget tree. It's not something you add to the widget tree. It's
Yeah.
something that comes externally kind of and shows for a second and then it disappears. So it's not added to the widget tree. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is why, so this is the example. I see there will be like error. There was an error loading the API. This is everything that I need. So for this, we can follow along the example that they are having here. And we see here that they are having this snack bar.
So they're creating a snack bar widget
Yeah.
and then passing
they're-
it to show snack bar.
Oh, so you just push it to the. Okay, so basically here we, on the ternary operator, we just don't do anything. There's an empty widget.
You can use container if you want to, just a simple container. If you want nothing,
Thank you. So when we'll be having an error, the circular progress indicator will stop loading and we'll be having this snack bar. Can we pass here a function, did you?
not really. I mean, that's the widget tree, right?
Yeah, it's not recommended because it
Okay.
may run continuously.
So
So I
the
will leave
function
it
should be
until
called
now.
in the method. So in the
What?
load data.
Sorry? Yeah, we'll be doing this on the load data. Ah,
And another note, if I may,
sure.
if you noticed at the snack bar, you have you call on a scaffold messenger. So it's recommended that on top of the scaffold, you put a parent widget of scaffold messenger. So it catches the snack bar to that scaffold.
Serious? Okay.
Yeah.
But why they are not doing this into this?
I forgot they changed it. They changed this in 2.5 or 2.2. I forgot when.
Okay, so it is, you consider it is better that way to have a scaffold messenger that is wrapping all the scaffold. Yeah.
Yeah, basically you can have multiple scaffolds and the snack bar will be shown at the topmost of the scaffolds, if you understood me.
Yep. There was an error initializing the app. And this is it. We don't tell more. So let's simulate the error. Oopsie. Oh yeah. So probably we need to push it after we decode it. What happened? Why I'm not having the toast? If you
I think this might be because of the context that
probably
we're
because
using.
are you sure? I think we set
Well,
the
you're
speed and
using the
also
context of the splash screen widget itself. And when you call of context, it goes up the widget tree, right?
okay,
So
so
it tries to
basically
find a scaffold messenger, but there's no, I mean, the scaffold messenger is lower down the widget tree.
okay, so we need to do this into the into the build method, yeah.
No,
Not necessarily.
you can add the key to the scaffold. I forgot the name of the key.
Yeah.
And you can take the context of the scaffold from that key.
Let me try this. And then we'll be doing with the key. I just want to see if hard coding is
You're
like,
kind of using the same context.
oh, this was the error that I was mentioning in the first session. Yeah, the red screen of Flutter. Okay, so come on, guys, lead me to it. So, but it is the same context, isn't it?
Okay. So you should define a global key of scaffold state in as a member, as a property, yes.
Okay, so
You have a global key of scaffold state between the scaffold state is the type. I'll add it to the
Guys,
chat.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not a very good Flutter programmer, but I have a few lines in the chat. Maybe if you
Yeah,
can
let's
look
see.
at it, that works for me actually. So have a look.
Let's see.
I also add the code for the key. So just so you know.
So let's go for the first thing that, no, Catalin, you told us? Well, yeah. So let's see what Catalin says. So instead of having my spaghetti hood here, we have, okay, context here. Okay, and why is this different than what we created, Catalin?
Actually, maybe you can explain me why it is different. From my programming background, I'd say that it is created every time and not stored, but I actually don't know.
Okay, so the problem is here, like we need to match this snack bar with the context of this layout. And because we do this into, I don't really get it. So let's see what I was having here and what's your code and try to make a difference. So definitely I'm creating the snack bar with the content and I'm trying to add this snack bar to this context, yeah. So if I'm looking here, you actually have the same method called with a snack bar instance, which is actually the same thing. This is why I was asking. It is the same thing that I had here. Just I stored this into a variable, and you just passed it. So if you store this into a variable and pass it, it is the same example. Yeah. So I'm interested how this is working for you. What is your secret? Are you still with us?
Sorry. Again, I don't know. I only have a few months of Flutter, so I don't really know. But to me, it might be that the final variable is like a static one and is created only once. Maybe, I don't know, again. And the one used in my couple of lines is definitely always created, so it's a temporary. Maybe that is the case. I don't know.
Okay. So I was thinking that you have a working example and
the difference between the code.
I do use that code. Sorry, I do use that code in an app that displays toast messages. And if you run it, doesn't it display the error?
So Adrian, help us to get the context from this key.
Okay, you have scaffold key has a property of context. The current context should have current current context. Okay, also add the exclamation point.
Oh, sorry. The build context, okay.
So I think you're going to run into the same problem because you're using of context. So it's going to take the scaffold's context and it's going to go up the widget tree and it's not going to find the scaffold.
Let's try it a bit. So
Okay,
add the what?
But the thing is, it's nullable. So you need to use an exclamation point sign.
Yes. Okay, and also add the scaffold key to the scaffold. Oh.
Yay.
The thing is that what I noticed in the code while I was writing is that you place the scaffold messenger outside the else. At first, the code was outside the else, or it was just me.
It is inside the else.
Yeah, now it's inside, but I thought you wrote it outside the else, and because it's also
created in else.
When you moved it to the else condition, it works. If you move it outside the else, it doesn't.
Well, probably because it haven't created
regardless of that.
Yeah, so this is working because of this matching with the key. Thank you, Adrian, for this. So we basically matched we created a key that we passed it to the scaffold, and then for that key, we get the context and push the snack bar. Livy, what do you think about this? Sorry?
Who?
Livy, what he thinks about it?
I literally don't use snack bars at all. Usually you have some custom UI that you want to show, not a snack bar when there's an error. So
hey, you can make a snack bar with an error. You make it red, you add a message, you add an icon, and you have a error looking snack bar.
Let's play with this. We have like 5 more minutes to play with this.
Yeah, by the way, you can also, it seems from the documents that you can also call show snack bar on scaffold key dot current state. If you want to avoid scaffold messenger of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay right now. Thank you very much. I will put an icon here of icons. There's an alert. Come on, give me an alert. Exclamation. Thanks. Did someone? Let's go for this class and see what they're having here. Oh, come on. I think it was showing the icon, but until it loads, it took a really, really long time. So icons, let's see the material app icons. So I think we can get that X or something radioactive. Product icons. No. Yeah, so I will go for product icon, but there is not the full list of the icons that I want. So they're not having names, just presenting. So Flutter icons list. Always the official documentation. So it seems there are a lot of icons because it loads very, very hard. They're actually using a circular progress indicator in the demo. Okay, let's see. Okay. And where are all the icons? Here, those are the constants. How can I find an icon, guys? Do you know an easy way of this one? I think this is the most easiest way. Let's get an alert. I imagine how the design team for icons works at Google. It seems like a pretty fun job to do. Okay, this one. Material, okay. Apps, out, age. Okay, let's see. Okay, look. Okay, and after that we can add a text. Okay, there was an error initializing the app, and also we have here style, and for this we pass a text style instance of, and here we have colors that red. How to reload? Doesn't look so well. Okay, let's put here sized box of width 15. This is more. Okay. Well, this is it for today. I hope you guys find something useful here. It is very interesting because I'm so beginner in Flutter and I have a lot of help from Liviu, and then it turned out that I receive a lot of support and help from you guys, and I'm really I really want to thank you for this. Let me know if you have any questions that I can answer, or there is any topic that you want to open in those next 5 minutes.
I might be thinking ahead in terms of UI UX, but the app bar is a material app bar, and as far as iOS goes, you need a Cupertino. So how do you do?
We do material on iOS. You know, we have an iOS simulator. Yeah, so probably we can play a little.
In terms of the guidelines in how the UI looks and feels for an Android versus iOS user, maybe, I don't know if it's a topic in a future session or not, just how to create the UI specifically differently for iOS/Android.
Yeah, we can play with a little elements. From my point of view, if you want to really go iOS and Android specific designs, you have to manage, you have to know and to handle really well a state management solution. Because if you go like each time to decide if the design is like Apple or Android, probably this can be this can make the development of the app very hard. So you can decide based on the data that Flutter has into his instance by default. You can decide if there is an iPhone or Android or any other environment, and you can apply the design for that. Liviu, did you have the chance to create an iOS and Android specific design to from a single code base, from the same code base?
Yes, multiple apps.
And how you handle that?
What specifically? Sorry.
So if I have an app that should be different, uses Cupertino on iOS and then Material on Android, how you handle that?
So you can check the platform, the current platform that you're running on.
Yes. And then?
And then I think what we did in the past is we had a generic widget that has two children. Has one child for Android and one child for iOS. And internally, it did a check on the platform. And if it was iOS, it would show only the iOS widget, the iOS child.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was Android, it was showing only the Android child.
So yeah,
makes sense.
So a platform adaptive widget.
Yeah, I was thinking there should be something to detect the platform it's running on and have like different UI elements rendered.
Yeah, there is.
But now if you run it on everything, Flutter can run on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to check for every platform. Or make a decision if you want to use Android widgets for everything, for web, for desktop, and so on.
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of a mobile developer, like having apps for iOS/Android, just the two of them, and managing them in the same code base. All right, thank you.
All right. So yeah, there is internally a mechanism to decide the platform that you are on, but further on, I was trying to do this and I was ending up like, if Android, then if iOS, then. So I didn't love that. But
Again,
yeah,
you can do that only once, right? And just have
I get it. Probably I was seeing this very not experienced way. Okay, guys, you find the GitHub repo on this events page, on Flutter Romania Meetup page. Also, you can join the Discord group if you haven't until now. And yeah, see you next week, going further with development. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you our sponsors for keeping this meetup alive. You can find the sponsors on the meetup page, and also thank you GDG Cluj-Napoca for supporting this event. They helped a lot on creating this. Yeah, see you guys next week.
See ya. Goodbye.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.